Zippers don't have to be difficult. This is a traditional centered zipper. This is usually what you see in garment patterns. If you're using a garment pattern and using these directions online as a supplement, make sure that you're using the correct seam allowances. For mine, I usually use a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I have my machine all set up here. The only thing I'm going to change is I'm going to increase the stitch length so that my straight stitch now becomes a basting stitch. This will help later when I take the seam out. Okay. Once you've sewn your seam, you're going to take it to a flat surface, open it up, lay it flat. If you're doing a garment, make sure that you're pressing with an iron at this point. For this demonstration, I'm just going to finger press. You're going to open up your seam, just like that. Then you're going to use a zipper, and the reason I like to use a 1/2 inch seam allowance when I'm doing non-garment projects is because my traditional zipper will fit right on that seam there. Take some pins, pin it in place. Really, the point of a centered zipper is that your teeth, or the center of your zipper, is going to go right along your seam line. So if you have a larger seam, maybe a 5/8 inch seam, you'll just want to roll your zipper slowly so that you know that it's in the center, and pin as you go. Make sure your zipper tab stays out of the way so you don't break your needle. This is a metal zipper. I'm going to take it back to my sewing machine. Before I sew any further though, I'm going to change my foot. I had a regular straight stitching foot on. I'm going to change it to a zipper foot. And snap it right in place. And remember to take your seam allowance back down to your sewing seam allowance. The reason you want to use a zipper foot is it gives you the perfect distance away. When you put your zipper foot right up next to the teeth of the zipper, you're the perfect distance away for your seam. So make sure that you have your presser foot down and you can start sewing. Remember not to sew over your pins, so take them out as you go. You're going to stop, pivot, and sew to the center of the seam. And I like to backstitch at this point, just to hold that one side in place. Now, one thing that's important when you're sewing your zippers is that you sew both sides of the zipper in the same direction. So instead of sewing back up this side and causing my zipper to be lopsided, I'm going to change the side of my zipper foot, like so, and I'm going to start sewing from the top down to the bottom again. This will keep your zipper from being lopsided and eventually your garment from being lopsided. On this side I obviously don't need any pins because the other side is holding it right in place, so I'm good there. I'm going to pivot and meet the other point in the zipper and backstitch. I'm going to take it back to the flat surface. And you would trim all of these little ends off, obviously. But what you want to do in order for you to see your zipper is take apart that basting stitch. So you're going to take a seam ripper and just gently drag it along that seam that you've made. You'll feel the zipper teeth right behind you. And it'll open up that basting stitching. gentle so you don't catch any of your fabric. All the way up to the top. You would pull all of these little hairy pieces from your seam out of the way, but you have a perfectly centered zipper.